Hey guys, what's going on? I'm back doing my reviews, and this is the first one I've done for about 2 weeks now since my wife gave birth to our first baby daughter, and it's been a really hectic, crazy time. But I've been finally managing to get back into the swing of things, doing some trading, doing some reviews, and the first one that I'm doing since I have returned is a program called Mean Reversion Trading by Nishant Pant, and I think I'm saying that right. Nishant Pant. Pant. So this is something that I saw on Facebook ads, and probably a lot of you guys have seen the ads for this as well. The website is this one right here, and basically the ads are talking about a $25,000 challenge. So they're talking about taking 2,500 and within the space of a year, trading that up using this particular methodology to get it to 25,000. So 10x your account, which is like really hard, really hard to do. And the author seems to have had a history of doing this repeatedly, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that in this. I'm going to talk about what his Discord server is like, what the alerts are, show you his track record, all that good stuff as well. I'm also going to look at some of the Trustpilot reviews that I was reading about him, because that's usually where we end up, right, when we're looking for reviews on these services. And going to check those out and see if they compare to my experience so far with the service as well. So should be interesting. So yeah, let's get started. So weirdly, the mean reversion trading is under the domain name tradingextremes.com. So kind of weird. It's also affiliated with another domain, which is something about the 25k challenge thing. So it's pretty interesting. So this guy, Nishant Pant, I can't find very much on him at all. Like, I've looked and looked. Really, the main thing out there is his Amazon book, which has the same, logo and branding, mean reversion trading. It's using option spreads and technical analysis, and it is really highly rated. So I'll leave a link in the description for you to go and get this, because this guy has 4.5 out of 5, 192 ratings. So decent sample size. Obviously, he's doing something right here. I haven't read this book because I signed up for his program, and a lot of the same information is available in there, so I've been going through that rather than the book. But so far, this is looking quite promising. It's hard to get 4.5 out of 5 stars on Amazon with 192 ratings in our industry, at least. It's fairly unusual. So all I've got to go on who this guy is this book, and basically this little profile picture here, and some of his profile information about who he is from this site here. So he says here, I'm a serial entrepreneur, software engineer, and successful options trader for the last 17 years. I've also spent 11 years of my career writing software for wealth management and finance industry. My passion for the financial markets has allowed me to generate and grow my wealth, blah, blah, blah. So, very little. And if you Google him, I can't find anything else about him at all. Really kind of not somebody that's really got a huge presence, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just, it was kind of interesting because he does make a lot of bold claims, and when you make bold claims, you want to see, some decent evidence that these things are for real, or at least know who this person is, not some anonymous Discord crazy kid living in his parents' basement claiming to 10x their account every few months. This guy does seem to be much more mature than that, as you'll see when I go through some of the stuff that he supplies people with in his Discord, where he talks about risk management, which is something you'll never hear some crazy Discord kid do. We're going to give you a whole book on risk management for your position. So there's lots of pros and cons here. Anyway, so he has a book. I'll leave a link in the description for you. You can go and check it out when you have a chance. I think you'll like it if you want to use like debit spreads, which is what these are, and technical analysis. I think you'll find this pretty interesting. So here's part of on his website where you can see more about the book, what's in the book, all this type of stuff. I'll let you guys browse that at your leisure. Basically, his strategy is fairly straightforward, right? As a lot of strategies are. The devil's in the details. So basically, all he's doing is using Keltner channels, Bollinger Bands, typical technical analysis to look for things that are overextended and are going to revert to the mean. So you can see it's overextended. We've had a big push up and then we bounce down. So there's nothing new at all here. This is like bog standard technical analysis. Sure, he uses particular settings and all this stuff, but it's basically oversold, overbought. It's going to go back up or back down depending on whether it's overextended or not, which direction, whether it's up or down. It'll always revert to the mean to some degree. So, you'd ask yourself, well, it doesn't seem like it's something that's very special or new at all. He goes through his technical indicators. He's looking at the Bollinger Bands. There's a whole bunch of them. I put them in the article, what he actually looks at. Let's see. So, let's leave it here. So he looks at the Bollinger Bands and the Keltner channels, and also the RSI. So these are really things that are just really straightforward, like easy, and support and resistance. Some of the most common, combination of indicators in directional trading. So the way he trades these is interesting to me, though, and it's partly because I don't really have a background in trading option spreads. I generally trade, just straight calls or straight puts. I generally don't trade spreads, so for me it's pretty interesting to see that he's using debit spreads, in particular 5-width debit spreads, to make these trades. I'll show you some examples of the exact trades he makes in a little bit here. But basically the idea with the debit spread is he is trying to reduce the cost of just buying the option outright, so you can reduce the buying power needed, so people can do much smaller position sizes for the same potential risk reward, if that makes sense. So if you're looking to risk $250 and make $250, whether it's risk it or or be able to make profits at $250, you have to make a certain percentage, right? So with Nishant Pant's strategy with the debit spreads, is you can do that with a lot smaller amount of money, $250, which would be 100% wins. That's very difficult to do with options without risking a lot more money. So the debit spreads are very interesting. I'm not an expert on them. If you want to learn more about them, I'd definitely check out Google, see what you can find. They're a very interesting way to limit your risk reward, and you also do limit your reward a bit, but it's a good way to reduce the amount of buying power you need, so it's really good for small accounts. So when he's talking about these $2,500 challenges, he's able to buy numerous small positions of these debit spreads, or take these debit spreads on, and so definitely makes things quite interesting. Now, I do trade credit spreads, which my friend Lance from thetatraders.com, I'll leave a link in the description. He trades them in his room right here. If you're not in that already, definitely check it out. There's a 7-day trial, so you can come and check it out. These have a much higher probability of success. I've seen it as high as 95+% on these credit spreads, and I think it's something you might really enjoy if you're looking for very high probability trades, which is one of the downsides to this mean reversion trading strategies, is that it's a very low win rate. So I'll talk about that in a little bit, but bear in mind these debit spreads have low win rates and the credit spreads have high win rates, which Lance from Theta Traders is really good at. So check that out in the description below if you're interested in learning how to do credit spreads with Theta Traders. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I think I have a free ebook that I'll put down there as well on his strategy for credit spreads, which you can check out. So Nishant Pant claims that these debit spreads and this combination of technical analysis, when there's little pullbacks, for example, you'll take a bull call spread, which is basically betting that the market will go back up. He claims that this is how he's able to do, it's something like 10 challenges where he's turned $2,500 into $25,000 in a year. He did 10 and the winners over the last few years, and he did 3 and they were losers. And one of the losers was in 2022, I think, because I saw a lot of reports of people around that time were losing money with the strategy. So let's see where we're at. So he does his mean reversion strategy, which is what we talked about. He also has like 4 other strategies though, so post-earnings trades, squeeze trades. By the way, this article will be in the description below, so you can go and check it out in your own time, so I don't go through each and every single part of this here. One of the things I do like is his hedging trades. This guy is really big on risk management, so he only advocates you using about 30% of your available capital. So it's pretty amazing that you could do a small account challenge but only use 30% of your capital any one time, which is really cool. And he uses the other 70% to do these bailout trades where if the market totally tanks and he's long on that 30%. You can use the other 70% to try and dig his way out of those trades. So he's very careful with his stop losses. So I'll show you the discard and everything in a minute, but the 50% stop is solid. So he risks 50% of a position to gain 100% on his winners. So he's very rigid about stop. He's very good at diversifying his capital as well. So not only does he only use 30% of his capital at any time, he also looks at different sectors and everything as well. And he staggers the expiration dates of his option spreads to try and lower the risk. And typically he's doing these spreads for about 30 to 60 days out. So he's spreading them out in time, sector, stock, and all these other things. So it all adds up to this broad, diversified portfolio. So that really just like with very small positions in each one. So it's pretty cool. So those are the good things. Those are some of the good things I wanted to talk about. One of the best things about him so far is on Trustpilot, they have 71% of people saying it's 5 stars. So they have a great rating. They only have 28 reviews though, so it's not a huge sample size. So this is a starting point for my research on this guy. And you can see there is a leftover here, 25k optionschallenge.com was the website name at one point, I think, from the looks of it. So that was the other domain I was talking about earlier. So when I was looking through these reviews, it's very polarizing because 21% say it's 1 star. So sure, 71% say it's 5, 21% say it's a 1. That's pretty polarizing. People, you know, it's not normal to get such a clear spread, like, well, not a spread, a binary sort of thing. So 71% love it, 21% don't. So that made me think it's probably to do with timing, whether you get in when it's a bull market or bear market or whatever, whether he's adjusted the strategy to it or not. So I looked through all the positive reviews, I agreed with them technically. I looked through the negative reviews and I thought they were pretty spot on as well. So let's see. There was only a couple things in here that really bothered me about the system that I hadn't seen myself. One of them was something to do with him having another account. So don't really want to get into the weeds on that. You can go and check out the Trustpilot for this if you're interested yourself. There's one about how he has like different accounts and how like the transparency is not really there with the challenges. It doesn't look to me like he's really running a challenge at the moment, as I'll show you in the spreadsheet. But there's some people complaining that he seems to be kind of, they feel like he was doing some sort of, you know, manipulation where he was averaging down in a small account and then claiming that was his profit. I don't know. It seemed all a bit weird, but the whole thing is a bit shady. So wasn't super impressed with that. Anyway, let's have a quick look in the Discord and then we'll look at his track record, right? It sounds like a good plan. So let's go to this one right here, which is mean reversion trading. Very simple, clean Discord, which I really like. So we have a trading method, frequently asked questions, case studies, announcements, trade alerts. Really, you might all, you know, after you've looked through the initial stuff when you join, you might only be looking at trade alerts. Trade alerts are really simple. This is one that was out today, I think. Let's check what the day was. Yeah, today. So it's a bear put spread, so betting this AMGN is going to go down in price. So he's doing all sorts of stuff, as you'll see from the complete spreadsheet. This is just an example of a trade alert. And so you see you get the price at the time of the trade, the expiration, which is about a month out. It's healthcare sector, mean reversion strategy, which is that idea of technical analysis. Cost is $250, potential profits $250, and you want to cut your loss at half of that. That's kind of what he's saying. So that's all you get, really. You can ask him more details. He's in the Discord all the time. But we just scroll up here, you can see the sort of trades he's doing. It's a closing trade on CME. All of these are these debit spreads. I'll show you exactly what the debit spread is in a sec. Original spread. So you can see the strike prices of the put spreads here. 435, 430, and 5 with spread. Anyway, I do like this layout. It's easy. You can get it on your phone. Everything's good with that. Questions for Nishant? he does answer pretty well. You can see he's active in the Discord today. Somebody was asking about this stuff. This guy was saying, I'm loving it. Almost everyone who trades for 30 days, why not 1 week? He goes into his whole strategy here. So it's good if you like to have one-on-ones with the main guy that you're paying to help you with this stuff. Again, more discussions in here. Just kind of looking through. Looks like he gives market outlooks as well. Hope you read the market outlook for a week. I laid out a boom or bust scenario where I mentioned that 430 for SPY is a critical level. So it's good. So he gives a lot of talk about this stuff as well. It's useful. Lots of information on this strategy. Loads of frequently asked questions. Lots and lots of information overall to be found in these channels. You're really, it's pretty good. I mean, they do help you a lot if you're new to debit spreads in general. Case studies was interesting. He actually posted one where he talked about how a guy wasn't making any money with the system, and that brings me to one of the important points here. Is everything I'm seeing I like. So I think this guy's for real. I went in and downloaded a whole ebook that he has about his rules of trading and discipline. He's clearly very, very disciplined, and you'll see that pretty quickly too. That's what I like. The one thing is, for subscribers, there are a lot of alerts, so there can be 20 in 2 days or 3 days. That's a lot. So unless you're actively watching this and everything, you might have a hard time getting all of the trades, which could be a bad thing. Which is why I think some people don't like it. They learn the ones that do like it learn the strategy probably and have the discipline, which is hard. And the reason it's hard is that you lose 40 to 50% of your trades. And each time you lose about 50% of the capital in that trade. And that can be a very hard thing to stomach. So if you don't have the belief or the, the discipline to know that that's what's going to happen, you might be a bit freaked out and give up after 3 losses in a row, for example. Now, he hasn't had 3 losses in a row for a while. And let's go and look at his tracker here. But my point is that this strategy is legit. This guy clearly knows what he's been doing, I think, from what I can tell. The problem comes in is really replicating what he's doing for yourself. And the best way to do it is to learn the strategy so you don't have to rely on his alerts eventually. Because when you're relying on somebody else's alerts, when it goes down 50%, if you don't trust them, you might just be like, oh, it'll bounce, and then it just tanks and takes out the whole position. You've got to be executing the strategy for yourself. So this is his track record. So a couple of things I like here. We have the tickers on the left. So we have the expiration date is this whole section here. So I'll try and zoom in. Yeah, not really letting me zoom in. Probably have to go here. I don't know if that'll work or not though. Yeah, it works. We'll just see the first little bit up here. So we have the expiration dates for these debit spreads. And he's doing bear puts, and he has been since July, which is interesting. And so normally he was doing bull calls, he's known for that, but he's been doing bear puts, so being able to adapt to the market is really good. Quite impressive. You can see some of the tickers here: IWM, LMT, LEN, FDX. Long strikes, short strikes. So long as you buy it, short as you sell it. And those form this pair, this spread, 5-month spread. These are from July, so we're looking back here. So he's putting when they expired and what they were closed for, and typically he's closing them for 94, 95% profit. That one looks like it was an odd one out where he closed it for 10% profit right there. And so I went through these and added up the win rate, and it's only 60% over the course of all the trades that are shown here, which is very low if you're used to credit spreads like I was talking about before, where you can make 95, 97% win rates and just be more relaxed. So these are not relaxing trades from what I can tell. There's a lot of them coming from him, and you have to decide which ones you want to take and everything. So, but there is a lot of winners in there too. Kind of scroll down here. So when he just says closed, this is one thing I'm not super happy about. He does seem to kind of play down the losers a little bit. Like, you'll say closed winner, but you won't say closed loss or closed loser. He just says closed. Sure, sometimes he adds the notes here, like 40% loss, 50% loss, which is good. And you can see the winning percentage. So, you're making almost double when you win, but you're only winning about the same amount that you're losing. I know it might not look it here, but I went through and counted them all out. It's in the article, so you can check that out. See long losing streaks here. So this is the sort of thing that would get people, right? If they came in here and lost 50% and another 50% and another 50%, they probably just quit and be like, this guy's, a scammer or whatever. So it's something that you really have to use. Like, it's like a coin toss. You have to do enough data points. You have to toss it enough times to get an answer that's valid. So anyway, looked through all of those. Looks good to me. I think it's not my style of trading. I'm not going to stay a member. It's too low win rate for me. Even though the wins are twice the losses, it's still... I don't like that style of trading, never have. I much prefer the much higher win rate trades, such as the Theta Traders spreads, and also the Theta Traders futures that we're doing in there as well. So if you want a high win rate, definitely come check out us in thetatraders.com. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Anyway, I think I've covered what I wanted to say on here. I mean, the article's right here. It's got more information on it. If you need anything else, just let me know. And I think looked at some stuff about people. Yeah, so one thing is you've got to be careful because some people are seeing 2 to 4 weeks of winning trades getting wiped out. That's the sort of thing that gives you the 21% bad reviews, right, on Trustpilot. Those people, they just happen to get caught up in those and don't do the winning trades or whatnot. So, yeah. Anyway, I think the education is superb. There's a bunch of things you can download in Discord. The Discord's really simple and well laid out. Overall, I do like the service. It's not that it's bad. Here's the pros and cons that I wrote in the article. So I said it's a solid, legit spread strategy. It works in all markets. It doesn't work in all markets. It works in upwards trending markets, but usually he adapts the strategy, it looks like, to deal with downwards trending markets as well. The spreads themselves can't deal with downwards moves while you're in them, or upwards move, depending if you're doing which type of spread you're doing. They have to go directional. It's a directional strategy. So I'd say that's what is kind of not that great to me, is it's still a directional strategy. It's not like these theta decay spreads where you can just chill and let the market just sort of fluctuate around and then you just make your money anyway. So I do like it's highly rated on Trustpilot. Those reviews do look legitimate to me, both the bad ones and the good ones. He's really good on risk management. So like I said, there's books he has on the risk management side of this strategy to really put that edge in your favor. It's reasonably priced. It's only $100 a month, which is pretty good. Cancel anytime. Like I said, the cons on this are that a lot of the negative reviews on Trustpilot are a little bit worrying. I didn't show them. You can go and check them out for yourself. But they weren't, all of them weren't, or most of them weren't answered by Nishant at all. They were just kind of ignored, which is unusual. If there was no validity to them, they'd be addressed, you'd think. But there might be a reason for that. I don't know. Trade volume can be, or trade alert volume can be quite high, 10 to 20 in a week. I saw them do like 12 to 15 in a day or two last week, which was crazy. Volatile trades can be worrying. Yeah, so with the small win rate, where you're only winning half the time, this can really, like I said, be the worst part of this. And I know people that started in trading this in 2022 and they lost 3 or 4 in a row and just went, yeah, this sucks, and moved on, which is understandable. It's hard to see that low of a win rate. It's very directional, doesn't use theta decay, which, yeah, that's kind of my thing at the moment. I think that's really all I have to say about reversion trading. I don't think you'll turn $2,500 into $25,000 in a year with this. I really, really don't. I think you can do quite well with it, but I don't think you're going to get that sort of return from the service. I would definitely check it out, though. I think they do a week for $1 or something, so you could go and check it out for that. Learn some of his strategies, talk to the guy, maybe see if it's something that you'd like to do, but honestly, I think there's probably better services out there for small account challenges as well. All right, hopefully that's helpful, and I'll talk to you guys soon.